Come, look into the pit. The Lord of empty abodes awaits therein. Your coming was revealed to me in the whispering of a bat's wings.
Nowhere is safe. Nowhere. The drums come every night now, a rhythmic pounding that raises terror in every heartbeat. The Darfari are hunting, and men are their quarry. I used to hear their drums out in the desert groves beyond Zambula, and in that life I simply thanked the gods that I had wealth and shelter. But see me now, crouched among the boulders, filthy, ragged, and half-starved. My days are a constant scramble for food and water, and my nights are spent huddled in whatever shelter I can find. Soon I will drift off to the half-sleep of the terrified, to dream of filed teeth and wicked cudgels and the haunting beating of those gods-cursed drums. By the gods, they're going to eat me. The drums are beating in frenzied rhythm, and the Darfari savages are dancing around a pit of swirling flames. I've seen what happens to those who are cast into the pit. The screams as the searing heat consumes them.
Be watchful of your sanity. The whisperings of those who come from the outer void can have a disturbing effect on the weak-willed. Under no circumstances should you feed the one that they call the Lord of Empty Abodes. Its power waxes when it tastes the flesh of your kind.
Outside the exiled lands, within the boundaries of civilization, very few have heard the dread name of Yog. The secret cult of the Lord of Empty Abodes works by night. They have no temples or priestly robes, for they would be killed if they were ever identified. Instead, they stalk the back alleys of the city of Zambula, striking fear into the hearts of all who hear the rumors of their existence. For the cult of Yog are cannibals, and their victims are stripped to the bone. But the worship of Yog did not begin in Zambula. Instead, it was carried there by slaves. Though they cast a long shadow of terror, ensuring that none dare to stay outside the city walls when darkness falls, their worship is only a pale imitation of the dark rituals of their homeland. These slaves hail from Darfar, in the black kingdoms of the far south, and their kinsmen stalk the jungles and grasslands of that region. Unfortunately, Darfar is right next to the exiled lands.
My lord whispers to me of this place. He walked here in ages past. Here there was a banquet of flesh for his pleasure, and kings called upon his wisdom.
Of all the factions currently inhabiting the exiled lands, the Darfari have probably been there the longest. Their demon god was known to the giant kings, and they may have been among the cultures lurking at the edge of that ancient empire, even before the coming of the Lemurians. In that long history, they have changed little. They built no great cities or temples of stone, keeping to woven huts and bone clubs. Crouching in the giant king ruins, they dominated the desert, and they hunted. Then, as now, they hunted down intruders to sacrifice to their dark god.
I was captured as I moved north from the river. They clubbed me senseless and dragged me back to their camp, thrusting me into a woven cage full of prisoners.
When they first leap out in ambush, the Darfari are terrible to behold. Their clothing is made of flayed human skin tanned into leather, and their jewelry is made of human teeth and bones. They carry bone shields which still reek of charred meat, and cover themselves with war paint and the greasy ash of burnt sacrifices. The tribal shamans wear wooden masks carved into fearsome likenesses. It is said that these masks allow them to speak with the dead. The warriors are unmasked, showing teeth that have been filed down to flesh-rending points. The Darfari never use bladed weapons. They believe that cutting the skin spoils the meat of their victims, making them less worthy sacrifices and less delicious meals. Although they use spears to hunt animals, they have different weapons for human prey, clubs of stone and bone to tenderize and subdue. Beaten into unconsciousness, the victims are dragged back to the Darfari camps and imprisoned in cages woven from strong desert branches.
They've been dragging us out, one by one, to their sacrifice pits. The screams of the victims fill the air, and the scent. My mouth waters, and I hate myself. I've seen the bloody sacrifices that Set requires, and the corpulent orgies of Derketo. But these brutes with filed teeth and blood running down their chins. I don't like this darkness. It makes my skin crawl.
In their camps, the Darfari build stone pits to make their sacrifices. While the warriors go out and capture prey, those left behind heat the stones with fire until they glow. When the time has come to feast, they take their prisoners and throw them alive into the burning pit, letting their victims cook to death upon the scalding stones. When the heat dies down, they remove the bodies and, dedicating the scalded flesh to Yog, rip into it with their pointed teeth. Darfari warriors believe that Yog's blessing makes them invincible while flesh is in their bellies. When all that remains are bones, they make them into weapons, jewelry, and eerie wind chimes, which warn of the coming of sandstorms.
Do you know the Lord of Empty Abodes? He knows you, child, through the flesh of your kind. He hungers to know more. All flesh is knowledge, every savory thought. Bring us knowledge of others. Yog is generous.
Every Darfari must partake of this ritually cooked flesh at least once a month, or risk becoming considered unclean. Darfari shamans are masters of dark alchemy and wicked sorceries learned from the demon god Yog, and they have horrifyingly creative ways of punishing the unclean and disobedient. The imps that stalk the exiled lands are their creation, as a scout sent by the Black Hand to watch them discovered. Through rituals best left undescribed, they have concocted a powder that corrupts absolutely. They use this powder in their own cauldrons and force it on their own kind. While I cannot hear their ramblings from my hiding spot, it is clear to me that they use this to punish their fellow clansmen. I saw one of them transform into a monster, a small, fat, fetid, and wretched creature with red skin. It ran away from the cauldron and exploded. This is not the only means the Darfari have of creating monsters. Their witch doctors can use strange, corrupting powders and potions to animate the bones of the dead, bringing them to life. While this is only a pale imitation of true necromancy, and their unstable creations last only a short time, it is still fearsome indeed to create undead horrors to fight alongside their warriors. Such power attracts some of those trying to survive the exiled lands. For those who wish to learn the dark path of Yog, there is a way. In the desert, among the ruins, lives a shaman who was cast out from his tribe. What could cause these cannibals to turn their backs on a holy man? Practices so horrifying, they make even man-eaters shudder in revulsion.
I am his shaman, Nuno. My crime was my belief. What matter the age of the flesh that my lord consumes? Does the Lord of Empty Abodes make a distinction between flesh in the womb and flesh outside of it? Now my tribe walks without a shaman, and I seek the pure flesh to feed my god.
Even for the Darfari, eating the flesh of unborn children ripped from their mothers was too far. but such is Nunu's sacrament. In his mad eyes, it is the purest flesh he can offer to Yog's dark glory. What is Yog truly? In this magic-scarred land, where belief holds terrible power and gods can walk, the demon takes the form of a horror of the outer dark, beaked and tentacled and trailing corruptive filth. It is clear that Yog is not a being of this world, nor a creature that any sane mind can comprehend. For those who delve deep into the forbidden lore, risking madness, there are discoveries concerning him to be found in the forbidden pages of the Book of Skelos. Truth is a difficult thing to be certain of when dealing with beings of the outer dark, but this much sorcerers believe they know. Yog is but one aspect of Yog-Sothoth, called the Watcher at the Threshold. To describe its function is impossible. Yog-Sothoth is. In the space between spaces, the shadows between worlds, the cracks between dimensions, Yog-Sothoth is found. Through it flows all of time and space. It is the gateway between realities. Sorcerers reach out to it, seeking its boundless knowledge, and sometimes they gain power through it. At other times, they go mad instead, or are twisted into horrifying forms. Such are the dangers of dealing with demons of the outer dark. All-seeing, all-knowing, and perhaps all-powerful, with mastery over infinity, Yog-Sothoth could likely end all things if it so desired. But it does not have desires or motivations, at least not as mortals understand them. Within the exiled lands, however, Yog's will is certain. Fire, flesh, and blood-stained teeth.